I like him a lot. I respect him a lot. I probably would if something like that would happen.
Bobby Kennedy has announced that he will drop out of the race and support Donald Trump. How does this change the situation that we are now in? What does this do to galvanize Trump supporters? Will Kennedy supporters like it? And is it possible that what we're experiencing now is not just a general election such as you have every 4 years in your country, but a true clash of cultures? On one side, you have traditional media and emerging globalist interests, and on the other side, an odd alliance of traditional conservatives, libertarians, progressives, and whatever constituency Bobby Kennedy is reaching. Is it possible that independent candidacy and new alliances is the thing that's going to disrupt globalism in a way that forms of nationalism and America first or France first or Britain first politics ever could? Is this the seismic event we've been waiting for? Let's have a look at it. This is Donald Trump responding to the news that Bobby Kennedy may yet drop out of the presidential race.
So his running mate said that they were considering endorsing you. Have you considered him for a role in the administration, and what role would that be?
Well, we haven't, but I would love that endorsement because I've always liked him.
Would you also consider putting him in the administration?
You're asking me a very unusual question. I haven't been asked that question yet. I like him a lot. I respect him a lot. I probably would if something like that would happen.
It's basically a yes. And by now, by the time you're watching this, it may already be a fact that Bobby Kennedy has backed Trump. That would be the perfect time to do it, to wait for the DNC to kind of reach its sort of apocalyptic, pyrotechnic climax, and then to sort of announce, now you're not facing the same candidates. And remember, I'm invested in radical change, decentralization, real empowerment of the individual and communities, maximum amount of democracy and maximum power in the community, anything we can do to oppose the forces that seem to have captured not only your country, but mine, and wow, maybe even the world beyond that. I find it interesting and exciting that new political alliances could emerge, because I think this is where change will come from. It's not going to come from the reiteration and repetition of what we've already got. Here's Elon Musk saying that he too is ready to serve in a Trump administration.
Elon Musk now says he's ready to join a second Trump administration. Musk proposed a committee to cut government spending during his sit-down conversation with Trump on X.
I think we need like a government efficiency commission to say like, hey, where are we spending money that's sensible? Where is it not sensible? Right. And just ensures that the taxpayer money, the taxpayers' hard-earned money is spent in a good way. And I'd be happy to help out on such a commission.
I'd love it.
Well, Musk took it another step further yesterday, posting this humorous picture with the caption, "I am willing to serve."
Well, this humorous picture that I observed. I have been so beautiful for most of my life that I actually do not move when communicating. My beauty is in itself magnetic enough to warrant nothing more than a kind of nasal intoning, even when talking about this story here and its humorous conclusions. Chris Cuomo has occupied, I made say his name, Chris Cuomo. He's occupied some interesting spaces in our culture, hasn't he? He's been on various sides of the legacy media, independent media divide. He has been part of the ivermectin is bad crew, and then came out boldly to state that he himself takes ivermectin. Perhaps what we have to look for is opportunities for alliance, affinity, affiliation, so that we can move forward and oppose the centralized operation that seems set on 4 more years at least of power. Let's have a look at Chris Cuomo talking about independent candidacy.
I want to focus on the gray, the people registering as neither Democrat nor Republican. Now, first of all, in July, the gray outpaced either other one in a lot of major areas. The gray outpaces. Now, why don't they focus on it the way we are now? Because most outlets are about the party game, and here we expose it, not play it. This shift makes sense to me, even in 1 month. Why? because we already know the fastest growing of our voter base is non-left or right, but people like you in search of reasonable. We are already a plurality, over 40%. Now, 40% is not a majority, but we could be on the way there. It's the fastest growing part. At least that's my hope. Since November 2020, guess what percentage of new voter registrations are independent or not Republican or Democrat, right? Because you could be Green Party, you could be Working Families Party, you could be different things, but you're not Republican or Democrat. It's an affirmative move away from those two parties. Guess what percentage since 2020, November, which is, of course, when we had the last presidential election? 82%. Pretty easy to guess when I put up the answer. But that's the point. Why so many? Frustration with a failed two-party system. Independents like you are the future. And it makes sense. Americans should be averse to hollow conformity, and that's what the parties are at this place, right? And at this place of where we are right now in our country, that's all they are. Are you afraid enough to join us? Americans are not sheeple. The parties have been terrible in how they seek office, and certainly in what they do with it.
Let me know in the comments and chat whether you consider that to be a kind of progress, independent movements and a surge towards voters and civilian citizens, human souls, divine spirits that have more interest now in independent candidacy, that are tired of the old oligarchy, have noticed that liberal democracies tend towards a type of corporatist, globalist oligarchy, and that we have new models now, both communicative and in terms of new currencies that can oppose these systems by simply establishing our own. It looks like independent politics, independent media, and cryptocurrencies could form the basis of a new political movement, and I'm interested to learn a great deal more about it. By the time you're watching this, Bobby Kennedy may already have backed Trump, and the fizzling display of pyrotechnics at the DNC may already be fading away. Politics moves so fast these days. It's going to be an interesting march towards November. Something has to be done to avert globalism and globalist candidates. We have one in Macron in France. We have one in Starmer in the UK. Trudeau is one in Canada. And Kamala Harris in the USA, I believe, would be a globalist candidate, and more of the same. Maybe new political movements may yet emerge. And if they do, and they oppose this globalist trend, that will be a victory for the majority of people. But that's just what I think. Why don't you let me know what you think in the comments and the chats? We can't continue to bring you this beautiful content without the support of our partners. Airports and planes are heavy EMF exposure zones due to the volume of people with individual devices and Wi-Fi within confined spaces. I think that's sometimes like all of them phones, everyone's staring at their devices. It's important to protect yourself if you're undertaking such travel from EMF. Imagine sitting on a commercial flight, every single person there smothered in Wi-Fi, Bluetooth earbuds, all that stuff. You might as well be in a fuselage made of electromagnetic energy. The Centers for Disease Control and Prevention classifies airline crew members as radiation workers precisely because of this fact. AirsTech, as you know, probably, are an official partner of the UFC. They're the only scientifically validated EMF protection solution. Hang that little thing around your neck. It sups up those sweet little problems. AirTech uses EMF modulation technology that is trusted and used around the world. Go to airstech.com/pages/Russell-brand. Use code Russell30 for 30% off. That's code Russell30 for 30% off. Give yourself the advantages that these devices represent. Thank you. Hey, thanks for watching. If you want to see more uncensored content where free speech can flourish, join our live stream. Click the link right here to watch the next video if you want to, or become a member of a growing movement. Download the Rumble app and you'll be informed every time we make a new piece of content. Stay free.